Hello, I'm Anthony Hobbs, and this is my review of Battlestar Galactica, more specifically, Episode 4, Lost Planet of the Gods. And, the Battlestar Galactica crew, they're very on their guard, very aware of the Cylon threat. I first saw this episode when I was 17, and it was exciting. It was an episode I'd never seen before, so that was pretty cool, yeah. Anyway, in the opening sequence, we have, Apollo wants to get married to Serena, so that's a big deal. He's really committed to this woman, yeah. And Starbuck is going to be the best man, yeah. They go on a patrol together in their Colonial Vipers, and Starbuck says, this is the last time we're ever going to do this as singles, yeah. But yes, he's very proud of his friend and pleased that he wants to get married, yeah. Anyway, Starbuck and Apollo, they go on their routine patrol. They find a void. Pretty dangerous, very easy to get lost in. But Apollo goes in without thinking and gets lost. Starbuck goes in after him, and he's using his scanner to ensure that he can find a way out. Oh no, he isn't. No, because this scanner, it doesn't work. You can't scan anything in there because it's a void. Yeah. So instead, he goes through the void in a straight line, contacts Apollo, and says, "Right, follow me. I'm going to do a 180 degrees turn, and then get back home." So they do that, and yes, they both get out of the void and safely back to the Galactica. They report immediately to Commander Adama, and he seems fascinated at the mention of a void, yeah. While this is going on, a bachelor party is being prepared, and the other colonial officers, they've smuggled some alcohol into one of the rooms, yeah. Oh yeah, and one of the main ones hiding the alcohol is a character called Green Bean. Now, I know these characters have unusual names, but that's going a bit far. That is quite a strange name. And he was played by someone that was very famous at the time. I personally didn't recognise him, but yeah, a lot of famous people cameo every now and again. And Colonel Ty decides to turn a blind eye. It's a stag night bachelor party, so let them have their fun, yeah. Anyway, while this is going on, Boomer and Jolly are also on a patrol mission in their Vipers, and they find an asteroid. They land and find a secret base. It's a Cylon outpost. Well, right, we'll definitely report this. There's no question about it. And when they get back to the Galactica, without realising it, they've contracted some horrible disease, a virus. They're both infected. And when they get to the bachelor party, the others are getting drunk. Well, they're falling down on their faces for a different reason. They're very, very ill. When this is found out, Commander Adama says, right, anyone that's had contact with Boomer or Jolly they have to be quarantined, put in isolation, so they can't spread the disease any further. And yes, the main colonial Viper pilots are put in cryotubes, so the virus is isolated, yeah. Did the Cylons know there was a deadly disease on that asteroid, Well, it doesn't affect them because they're machines, they're not organic, they can't catch a virus the way living things can. Maybe they did know, because what better trap for any human spies, yeah. Anyway, and then, we go back to Boltar, who's very fancy. Yes, he's dressed all in black now with a black cape, and he's been given command of a base star, or Cylon base ship, yeah. And, so I remember saying before how the Cylons are really cool, but it would be nice to have a human element to them, yeah, so we have human characters. Well, John Colicos plays the human character Boltar, who's helping the Cylons. And we have a new character called Lucifer, who's like a Cylon, except he has 2 red eyes instead of 1. He does not talk in an electronic voice. No, it's a more human-sounding voice. And the actor that did his voice was the same actor that played Dr. Smith in the original Lost in Space, yeah. In his voice, it sounds intelligent, but at the same time creepy and wicked and Weasley, a bit of a snivelling voice, yeah. So he's like the second in command on that particular base star. And Boltar, his orders are very clear. The next time there's a Colonial Viper patrol, attack them, but I want one of those Vipers captured alive and brought back to this base ship. That's a little easier said than done, but okay, that's his orders, yeah. And, because all the Viper pilots are ill, we need Viper pilots, to defend ourselves. And Serena, Apollo's bride-to-be, she's training to be a pilot, so more specifically a Viper pilot. But apparently she was training to do this even before the virus was a thing, yeah. Apollo objects a lot when he finds out. No, you can't do that. It's not a woman's job, it's a man's job to be a Colonial Viper pilot. And she says, well, I want to do it. It's what I've trained to do. It's the only way for the people to survive. There's so few people. We need more and more and more people to be fighters, yeah. And when Apollo says, but I love you, and I don't want anything dangerous to happen to you. And she says, well, how is it any more ridiculous than men going off to fight, risking their lives? Yeah. So yes, this is 1978, but it was a bit ahead of its time, a bit more politically correct. If a woman can do a job just as well as a man, she should be allowed to do it, yeah. So Starbuck and Apollo, they have to train a load of female pilots. They do have some experience. They've flown shuttlecraft before. But no, the Viper is an entirely different kettle of fish. It's much more advanced, much more sensitive controls, and there's arrays of different computers and different scanners. Yes, it's a much more complicated thing, and it has much more superb manoeuvrability, yeah. But he's training them, yeah, and they go in the flight simulator and all that. They are not fully qualified. Nevertheless, they have to do a mission. And because the doctor, he says their only chance, the other pilot's survival, their only chance of survival is if we go back to that asteroid. Why is that their only chance? Is there a cure for a virus there? No, it's never clearly specified. Do they need to get a sample of the virus there so they can analyse it? No, they don't clearly specify that bit. No, just all that is specified, the doctor says that's their only chance of survival. One thing that isn't suggested, though, the men that are really ill with the virus, why don't they just leave them to die and get on with being on the run from the Cylons? Yeah, I thought they were desperate for survival. Leave them to die so that all the others can live. Well, they could do that, but that wouldn't be very human, would it? It wouldn't be very nice, yeah. So no, they decide to save the other pilots. If there's a chance to save them, then do it, yeah. So they all launch in Vipers, yes, about 8 or 10 of them, yeah. And at first it's a bit awkward with the way they fly, but then they manage to get the hang of it, yeah, because they're the escort for the shuttle that's on its way to the asteroid, yeah. And oh yes, Bree, who was played by an actress that was in a shampoo commercial at the time. Okay, so this show, Battlestar Galactica, it has actors that were theatre actors, actors from films, actors from TV of the past. Zach, in the first episode, he was played by a pop star at the time. And Bree had a very popular shampoo commercial. You're gonna swear, you got more hair. Okay, a shampoo commercial celebrity. Well, the idea is there's something for everyone. Yes. Yes, Battlestar Galactica went all out on the budget, not just the special effects, the costumes and the sets, but with celebrities. Yeah, lots of famous people in it, yeah. And but if they wanted as many viewing figures as possible, why was it shown on a Sunday? When it was originally broadcast in America, it was on a Sunday. That is not peak viewing. If you want as many viewing figures as possible, do the early evening on a weekday. But I don't know, the rules were different then. Okay, they showed it on a Sunday in the belief everyone would be watching then, yeah. I think Lorne Greene was probably the most famous person in it, but he was not a cameo. No, he was a regular character, the commander of the fleet, yeah. And he was very well known for the long-running show Bonanza, and he played a father figure in that, and he plays a father figure in this as well, yeah. Anyway, back to the story. The character Bree, she looks at her scanner and says to Starbuck, Sir, I found something. It's a spaceship, and it's not a Colonial Viper. And Starbuck says, that will be the shuttle. Duh, you've got the shuttle on your scanner. And Bree says, no, I've been scanning it more intensely now. It is definitely not one of the ships from the fleet. It's a totally different spaceship. So Starbuck has a look at his scanner, and it's a Cylon Raider. And he goes, oh, right. In other words, Bree, the learner, she noticed something before her commander did. Yeah, so she was on the ball, yeah. And then after that, a lot more Cylon Raiders come, so all the spaceships, they fight them off as best they can. While they're doing that, Apollo goes to the Cylon outpost. He destroys the launch pad, and then they destroy all the Cylon Raiders, yeah. A bit awkward at times, they're quite losing it, but yeah, they're considering their lack of experience, the new pilots do very well, yeah. Then the shuttle goes down, gets the secret to destroying the virus, yeah, and then they get back to the Galactica safely, yeah. So yeah, so they're determined to stay alive, yeah. But then Lucifer reports to Boltar, and Boltar is like, well, this doesn't change anything. We're still going with the original plan. We're out of their scanner range, but as soon as we see any Colonial Vipers, capture one of those alive. So yes, the plan is still going ahead. So yes, it was a very good episode, yes, very informative. We learned things about the technicalities of launching in a Viper, technicalities about the story and character development. And we learn that, yes, you should give women the same job as men, equal rights and all that. Or maybe it's not a question of equal rights, it's a question of being practical. If too many men are killed, we need women to do fighting as well, yeah. So yes, needs must, the determination to survive. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.